Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Inspire Before We Expire show. I am your host, Terrell Sumter. Guys, I'm very grateful, thankful, and graceful to see another day. That's never a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you all to take some time, as you know, as we start each and every show. I just want you to take some time to close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out. I want you to visualize where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 6 months. Now I want you to take some time to open. Guys, I want you to reflect and accept in the present because I know tomorrow may not be promised, but today we are present. For each challenge that we go through, there's something much greater ahead. God always has something much more for us when we just keep going and being persistent through the process. Guys, I have a very special guest on my show today. I'm not going to take too much of your time. A gentleman who knows a lot about the process, who comes from very humble beginnings, a self-made business, humble individual who exemplifies the transformation from entrepreneur to leader. With only a ninth grade education, he has founded Bankers Healthcare Group in 2001 with the investment of just $25,000. Today, he reaches a net worth of 300 million. He knows above all the key to scaling a business is leadership. As a leader of his company for more than 18 years, this gentleman has instilled his team a positive mental attitude, PMA, creating a workplace environment that inspired top-level performance in a herd of revenue returns. Guys, this gentleman was the recipient of prestigious Ernst and Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2012, led BHG to be included in the Inc. 500/5000 list 13 times, and has been recognized by Fortune Forbes Entrepreneur, Hispanic 500, Cranes, and more. He was a keynote speaker once at 10X and has been featured numerous times in the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, Smart Business Magazine, CNBC, amongst others. Guys, I'm very grateful to really introduce you to my dear friend, the man himself, my guy, Mr. Bobby Castro. Bobby, welcome to the Inspire Before You Expire, man.
Thank you, Rel, man. Thank you for that introduction. And, your vibe is exactly what I'm about. And you're all about helping others because that's how I created not only my wealth financially, but my inner spirit. Return on the investment is amazing when you help others. So I'm so happy that you invited me on your podcast. I'm being very selective on who I say yes to because my minutes are non-refundable as yours and your listeners. You don't get them back. And I want to make sure I interact with people that are kind, respectful to others. They do understand the process of leveraging relationships, being kind to others. And I am one, I didn't create my success being rough and tough with others where you normally see that on TV or you think that's the way it is. I did it the opposite way of being kind, respectful, and it worked for me, man. So thank you.
Absolutely. More than welcome, man. Thank you for being here. So, Bobby, for those who may not know you and for those who know you, man, if you can just dive deep into your journey of where this all started, man.
Yeah. So, my mom was a waitress, 3 jobs waiting on tables. And before Denny's, it's known Denny's today to most. It used to be called many, many years ago, Sambo's.
Okay.
So just imagine for a moment, you went to a party, you went to a holiday company party, and it's late at night, it's 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and you go to Denny's, and that beautiful waitress, that awesome waiter waits on you. Well, that was my mom waiting on you. And when she was done on the graveyard shift, Rel, she walked home. She didn't drive home. She walked home, took a shower, rest a couple hours, put on another uniform, and did it again for the afternoon shift. Then it went on to the third shift at night at the Roni Pub Steakhouse in Miami Beach. And that was my mother's life. My father, he passed away when he was 94 years old. He met my mom, and she had me when she was 27 years old, and my father was 50 years old. They were in New York. I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
And my father was very passive, man, 9 to 5. He had a lot of ladies in his life. He has 14, 15 children. He had I think, 11 children by the time he met my mom. And so there's a lot of personalities going on, like all big families, and a lot of drama, a lot of, all bunch of stuff going on, a lot of chaos in a good way. But we grew up struggling, just like a lot of people have and still do. And we grew up on Rent-A-Center. This is furniture. You rent a bed, you rent a nightstand, you rent a sofa by the week, because you don't have enough money to actually buy one, or you don't have enough credit or good enough credit to even finance one.
So true.
So they would constantly pick up the furniture on a constant basis, back and forth. It bothered me. I'm sure like it bothers a lot of kids today. And electric off, water off. We had some government assistance from time to time, food stamps. And my mom was such a hard worker, man. And my dad was there, but he was chilled out, very passive. And, I failed at the third grade. I wasn't good in school, not because I was a difficult child. I just have a hard time comprehending things, and I still do today.
Right.
I was one of these children that constantly raised, when you have something going on, my hand will go out. Well, what do you mean, Mrs. Castro? And they thought I was trying to be difficult, but I really couldn't understand what was going on. So they were getting frustrated with me. I was getting frustrated with them. And I decided to leave school after the ninth grade. And ninth grade today is high school, but back in the day, it was junior high. So
Okay.
it was a very young age. And when I mentioned that to my mom, she had no pushback. She was fully in support of this situation, which is kind of shocking, even when I think about it, because I couldn't imagine my child told me that. I would have to maybe digest some of the stuff, ask some questions. My mom says, rock and roll. And I don't know exactly what she said, but that was the vibe. And I didn't speak until I was nearly 7 years old, meaning I was very, very shy. I was an introvert, very, very shy. And I think my mom recognized that, and maybe she was just trying to support me in ways to just pep me up and wake me up. And she sure did, because today I can't shut up, man. I'm so pumped up about life. And I'm more so the last 6 months, I've been thinking about my mom a lot. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. Before that, did I think about my mom a lot like I do now? No, I didn't think about her a lot because I was so busy and not really appreciating and understanding, because I keep begging people, don't ever stop growing. Don't ever stop being grateful. And the more I'm being connected with that, the more I'm doing even better in life, as I'm speaking to you today in so many ways. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, just for one reason only. I recognized the only way to get out of the struggle and become rich was to own your own business, because my mom used to wait on tables, and she got me the first job at 14 years old. I was a takeout busboy, and I started recognizing the behavior of all these individuals. And I used to get rewarded, just like my mom did. If she gave good value, good service to her table, she would get actually tip up to 18%. And I started recognizing that at an early age. And then when I became a takeout, especially in the takeout, I would just give good service, being polite, and I would get rewarded. Almost, I would hate to compare, like almost when you train a dog or an animal, when they do a good job, you get rewarded. So that's how I looked at life. And that's all it meant, was getting rich.
Right.
So I was so desperate to get rich, and I didn't know anybody who had money. I didn't know anybody who had information. I didn't even know how I was going to do it. And I made so many big mistakes I was so darn curious. And it's so important to always be curious, because if you're not curious, you will not dig for the information you need in order to find what you're looking for. So that was Bobby Castro. And then I started all kinds of jobs, always waiting on tables, parking cars, always in the hospitality business. And again, that's where I picked up, I think, some people skills. And man, I tried everything, dude. I tried to open businesses with no money. I tried to buy packages for a few $100s, thinking I was going to get rich the following month. I tried multi-level marketing, which really helped me a lot. Again, people skills. I was in Amway. I was not successful, but I absolutely loved the energy I was surrounded with, because we were all chasing a dream. Wanted something more. So I love that. And that's where some of the culture helped me to build my company into an awesome culture. I started a lot of businesses, dude. It was a fail after fail after fail. And well, Bobby, how do you keep going, failing so much? And this is the raw, honest truth. That struggle in my household bothered me a lot, like I mentioned, Rail. And every time I failed, I had to go home. Every time I went to work, you obviously have to go home to go sleep. And every
Mm.
time I went home, I didn't enjoy it. It was just too much chaos. It was too much struggle. But every time I left that environment and I went to work or I was trying to start a business, it was bright. It was full of energy. It was full of possibilities. But then when I went back home, so I was bouncing around. So that's how I came up with this PMA, my life, positive mental attitude. It's so powerful for me. It was a game changer. It's a trademark. That's how much it means to me. I had to keep a positive mental attitude because every time I went home, man, I came crashing down. That's my weakness. I'm so here in life. I
Mm.
don't like anything that's negative, anything that's filled with just not true intention. I don't know. So I kept chasing. That's how I didn't quit, man. Honest truth. I just didn't want to ever go back. My goal was to get out and don't go back. And I know that sounds
Right.
rough. My mom hears me on these podcasts, was on pouring out my heart all this remaining this year, expecting nothing in return. And I say, Mom, man, just that's how I felt, man. That's how I felt. And she just loves me. And she says she's my biggest fan. And because of my mom, I would never be here today, nor have earned what I have earned, or even helping others. So fast forward through a lot of just ups and downs. You know, there was even one time I opened a janitorial cleaning service. I told Mom, she finally got her first home. It was a seller financing. We went
Mm.
back and forth with all the rent, the landlord, the eviction. And that's, again, we'll talk about it later on. That's how I picked up about real estate. I always wanted to be that landlord because he or she was always in a better position than we were in.
Right.
And, you know, it was like, man, we just paid the rent and now they're knocking again. I said,
Mm.
so I'll never forget that. So I opened my real first business was a janitorial service that I decided to clean office buildings and offices, companies, where you see that beautiful staff that come to your office, they're cleaning. I wanted to get into that business because, again, I was in the hospitality world and I thought like, okay, I can do this. I know how to clean, but I was the best cleaner in for my mom when she was working. I was ironing. I was just awesome, and I am awesome.
Right.
So
That's.
I started going around these quickly. I was going around all these businesses and they were saying no to me. And they were saying
Mm.
no to me because of my age. I was so young and I didn't have the surety bonds. I didn't have necessary requirements you're supposed to have. And how I got in that business, my mother mortgaged her house. Back then it was called a second mortgage, not a HELOC, just for me, man, to buy
Mm.
equipment and a used van. I failed completely. I didn't pick up one account. Then I went to one account at the Pink Pussycat on 36th Street in Miami, next to the Miami High Line, next to the airport. Knocked on the door, and it was an adult establishment. I was just knocking, man. And they said yes to me. And they were a different crowd. They had a different way of thinking and being. They got a kick out of it, I guess. Yeah, sure. So I did that deal for about 6-7 months and did it good. And I started picking up other adult establishments and late night after hour bars. And
Mm.
I got no pushback. They thought, it's like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah. One day a dancer mentioned when I was there with my father about maybe 7 a.m, how old is that kid? So that's the end of that. I put some people in some possible liability issues. And then from there, that came sinking down. I gave up, started over. And then some magic happened where I was selling memberships for a Better Business Bureau. And I was, always getting these packages. You look in the classified ads, get rich, this,
Mm.
that, buy this, and I'm going to bring you to Mars. And, you know, I was vulnerable. And
Right.
at the same time, a package came and I was working for the Better Business Bureau selling memberships to business owners. And at night, I was waiting on tables at the Rusty Pelican in Key Biscayne in Miami.
Mm.
I was pitching a customer. He says, hey, I hate this membership. I think it brings me no value. You guys continue to try to sell me on this. However, I will buy this membership under one condition. I said, sure, what is it? You come work for me. And I said, absolutely. So it was an equipment leasing business where a business owner, if you need an x-ray machine or a copier, you need financing, and there's something called a lease. So that's what they did. And at the same time, I called upon one of his packages. It's just the stars lined up. Did very well. So well that I became the largest Southeast originator
Mm.
in the industry for particular different lenders. And I would get paid my commission from the lenders or banks. They'll build my commission in, and when the deal gets funded, they'll go ahead and just send me my commission, the banks. So I was invited to an intimate gathering for a celebration of all the business I throw this through this lender his way. And I met an investment banker, man, who really was the capital source that had no idea. And I
Mm.
explained to him there's some pushback I'm getting in the market from these doctors saying, hey, I don't need your services no more, Bobby. I'm getting Siemens to give me 100% financing with 0% interest. Wow. It did
Mm.
not affect my pocket at that time, but I noticed a trend. So I took advantage of it, and I got paranoid that it was going to put me out of business. So I mentioned this investment banker, there's a trend going on. He listened to me because I had good people skills, and I understood the power of leverage in a relationship. You don't
Yes.
force a relationship, man. You allow a relationship to blossom. You fall in love with the relationship,
Mm.
and you get that invitation in life. So I got that invitation in life, and 19 years later, I sold for $1 billion valuation. The
Right.
first slice was $250 million valuation, all cash. They said, hey, we want to pay you $250 million. And my brother was involved with me too, and Al. We looked up, really? Okay, yeah, whatever. Not paying it. Well, guess what? It closed. They bought it. They wired $75 million all cash. And what happened here? Why would
Hmm.
someone overpay? Are you kidding me? Well, I did some digging. We did some digging and found out, oh my gosh, they stole the company. We were
Mm.
not paying attention, Ralph. We were paying attention of our awesome business here, but we were not paying attention to very important areas that the market loved and they were willing to pay for it. As soon as
Right.
we found out, dude, we applied the method. 11 months later, we went back to the same buyer. Hey, we want to sell you 19% more, but 600 million. They said,
Mm.
it closed for all cash.
Mm.
3 years later, I wind up selling for $1 billion. So the power
Wow.
of information, and this is somebody that has a hard time comprehending things. I'm not well educated. I can't spell. My grammar's bad. My pronunciations were bad. So that just gives a message in a fast track format. Anybody can do this, but it's going to be a lonely life, man. You're going to have to really delete a lot of distractions, including, I hate to say it, man, sensitive family members. Big
So
pain.
true.
In a nice way. You got to do it in style.
Mm. Absolutely, man. Bobby, thank you, man. You started off fired up for energy, man. I appreciate that, giving us a rundown on you, man, honestly. And I just wanted to also, man, Bobby, which I do each and every episode, man, is to really show some gratitude towards you, man, for really being present, being here, and showing up fully, man. Really taking time out your busy schedule. Today is your granddaughter's birthday, and you decided to be here with us first. You know, the Inspire Before We Expire community is bigger than me. It's about my younger people listening right now, younger men and women as well from around the world. So we thank you, man, for really being here and being present, man. Honestly, we really thank you for really being here, brother. I know we've been connected via social media, back and forth, positive messages,
Yep.
sending vibrations, good vibrations, PMA, everything, man. That's amazing. Bobby, I wanted to ask you, man, why was it important, man? You've seen it as a young age. You've seen what you lost your father, you know, my condolences. You know, he's smiling down on you right now. But I love the way you referenced your mother most of this interview so far, man. You referenced her in every point, and I love that because many people don't do that, right? So why was it important to you, man, to really change that trajectory of your family? Like why was it important for you to become rich?
Can you repeat that? You just broke out a little bit, Rel. The last point, you just froze up. Sorry.
Yeah. Why was it important for you to change the trajectory of your family? And why was it important for you to become rich or wealthy?
You know, my mom and dad fought like cats and dogs. They stayed married all the way to the time my dad passed away in separate rooms. They just got so used to this routine, this struggle, and on top of it, there was other things going on, and I was just so overwhelmed, swimming in it, that I just didn't want to be part of it. And later in life, in an early part of life, I knew I had to separate myself for a moment in time to get my stuff together, to get my mind right, to be accountable for my actions, my outcomes, to make sure I don't repeat these mistakes that my parents and my family members, no one in my DNA and my bloodline ever thought about leaving a legacy. I'm in a plan of a 100-year legacy where I want someone in 100 years, one of my grandchildren. Man, how did your family do this, man? You have so much character. Your names are on buildings. What? Papa Bobby. So no one in my family ever, at least I don't think, ever thought about that. And it was just so much so much chaos, and I didn't want to be part of it. I just didn't want to be part of it. And I had to separate. And you know what? I did it in style. I didn't say I don't love you. I don't think highly of you. I just didn't say much. And the current took me, dude. The current just took me in life. And I just went with it.
Absolutely. I love that. And what was that game changing moment that occurred in your life that helped you be who you are today?
You know, I love this question. It's always asked to me. And right now, I'm 52 years old.
You 50, Bobby?
52,
You
man.
40, man. You ain't 50. Nah, I'm just joking.
I feel like I'm 19. When I was 14 years old, I got my first job at Pasquale's. It was a restaurant on Red Road, 57th Avenue in Hialeah. My mom was a waitress, and she got me the job. You were not supposed to work until you were 16 years old. I drove her bananas. Pasquale, he's the owner, and it's called Pasquale's, or used to be. It's not there no more. He took a shot on me. I was so excited. I'll never forget. We went to Kmart. I went to Payless. My mom went to Payless, got my shoes, went to Kmart. It was a white button down, half sleeve. You have to have black or blue. I just had to be perfect for it. And that was my haha moment, and it still is. Even I have two beautiful children. I have two beautiful grandchildren. I have a wife of 29 years. I love them all. Those are aha moments. But that was really when things really started. I felt good, dude. I just felt good, opposite of what was going on the other side of the candlestick.
Absolutely. And what's some advice, man, you would really give to some younger people that's listening right now, man, that's going through a similar path, man, but just feel stuck, Bobby. They just don't know exactly what 2020 may be in store for them. But their main thing is to become an entrepreneur, to start a business. So what are some practical advice you would give to them right now?
What a game changer, man. When I started realizing I was so distracted, Rel, I had so much income, and I had people I was associated with that was not happy in life, that was struggling as well. I had so much going on. And when I got away from it in a nice, beautiful way, I started being alone. And a lot of people don't like to be alone. And then I had to start taking responsibility. Bob, you keep saying you want this. You got to start taking action. You got to start being accountable for it. You have to leave others. And if you really want success, guys, you have to focus completely. You got to get yourself right. You have to disconnect. And I know it's so hard, Bobby. How do I disconnect, man? These are people I've been to school with. These are my friends in the neighborhood. I'm not saying they're not good people. They're awesome people. What you need is new information, because you already have the information where you're at. They have the information where you're at. All of you have it, and no one's going nowhere. Everyone's stuck. You got to have to bleed out softly and start doing the hard, bending to life, saying, I have to change, man, because if I don't change, this thing is building momentum. I'm so distracted. I can't get off the internet. I can't get off social media. I just can't get off of Netflix. I just can't stop complaining. I just can't, the landlord this bill keeps showing up on credit cards. I'm getting deeper in credit card debt. You're going to have to take full responsibility. It can stop. It can get so much better, everybody. I promise you that. Not 99%, 100%. I'm promising you it can get better if you really tune in. Distractions, man, be on high alert, and you just you got to get some separation, man. And I spoke to Eric Thomas. He spoke at my company, beautiful person, including Les Brown. I had all the big speakers throughout all the years of my company. You'll hear from them too, sincere people. And when I say Les Brown, man, there's no one with a bigger heart. You have to be willing to separate, give some void. And I don't think people, when they try it, it becomes very lonely, and they're so addicted of this constant stuckness, and they're wondering why we're stuck. And I come from a very hard struggle, and that's where my heart is right now, Rel, man. I'm talking to the masses. I don't expect nothing in return. I don't do this for a living. I earn that $300 million personal net income with no investors. I have $300 million of cash flow and assets I built for years before I sold this company. That cash flows for me and my family, just on that portfolio, $300,000 a month, positive cash flow, no tax implication. I have a ton of other investments. How did you do it, Bobby? I come from the same school you came from. How'd you do it? You got to separate, man. You got to be willing to separate and stay. You got to start talking to yourself. When you start talking to yourself, that means Okay, distractions are leaving me.
I love that, man. And you're right. Like, you know, I believe you got to separate from what distracts and pull yourself closer to what attracts. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
where
You
we
know, I
have
have
to.
beautiful young people, and I'm speaking to them, Rel, hundreds a day, and I want to make sure I get it right. When they ask me a question, again, my comprehension is not good, so I have to re-ask the question just to make sure I get it good. And they're giving me the rundown of their day, and I'm saying, "Oh man, you got one job. It's
Mm,
8:25. You got a 9 to 5. You got to do more. What are you doing
mm,
after 5? What are you doing before 9 a.m.? I have children. I have a wife. Okay, but what are you doing about getting out of the situation you're complaining? Because I
mm,
can't help you unless you're willing to bend. You got to get that second job. You have nothing in savings. You can't start a business right now, which is cool, man. You got to deal with the situation where you're at the stage you're at, man. Focus at the stage you're at. Hit the ceiling first before you even think about making $1 million. Building wealth. So going back, Bobby wanted to get rich. Then I started realizing how I became wealthy. I stopped thinking and focusing on getting rich. And my efforts, Rel, this is where real estate came in, is to get wealthy. Because if you focus on that, eventually, when you get to that stage, rich comes along the way. So you got to make these long-term efforts that are very boring for young people. They want it right now, dude. They need it right now, just like the younger Bobby needed it. And I made a lot of mistakes because I just wasn't willing to bend to new information and say, wow, this sounds like it's going to be hard. Are you kidding?
mm.
It's going to be hard. I'm not going to tell anyone different. It's going to be a hard mountain to climb, but it's possible.
Absolutely, so true, man. And what do you feel like so far through your journey, man? Because you've been in business for some time, man. And you started at a young age, honestly. So what do you feel like your biggest challenge been so far? And how did you overcome?
My biggest challenge, and I'm still challenged with it, man. I love people so much, Rel. There's obviously a lot of weaknesses of Bobby, a lot, dude. And I don't focus on fixing my weaknesses because I personally think it could take a lifetime. I'm aware of my weaknesses. I fuel my strengths. I'm telling that to everybody that fuel your strengths, be aware of your weaknesses. And I'm aware of a weakness where I love people. I put it this, I go to hotels even today. I clean that darn hotel so beautiful for that housekeeper, which reminds me of my mom. I leave those towels in the corner. I mean, they don't even have to clean the darn thing. Just put new soap, shampoo, and house. That's where my mind's at. I'm a giver. I had a hard time in my company. And the reason that I kept pivoting, I surrounded myself with people that did a better job. They were better than Bobby. I only took it to a certain limit, Rel. And then I said, okay, I need better people than me. One being, I had a hard time firing people. I had a lot of family. I got myself in a pickle. I started hiring friends, family, and I was surrounded by 100 people that, man, I'm not going to be able to grow with these people. We need to now go to another stage. So I had to bring in help. So my biggest challenge is I'm weak around people, man. I'm rooting for the underdog. My spirit, I'm always the underdog. I belong to an organization close to 800 members worldwide. I just met Richard Branson because of leveraging people. I spent some beautiful times with him at Necker Island, one-on-one, just with 15, 20 people, great mindful thinking. What a beautiful person. So I belong to this organization. I joined 8 months ago because I knew I was exiting for a very large amount. And I knew I had a good chance of falling off the cliff because I'm so used to being busy, being productive, creating. I said, I got to make sure I don't fall into depression, man, because I'm used to just rocking and rolling. You can see I just have a lot of energy. So I joined this organization that was highly recommended. It's a very hard organization to qualify for, but my credentials got me in, resume got me in, and they have over $80 billion in total net worth personally, this group.
Mm,
And they're beautiful. These are individuals that have exited 4 or 5 times. So I'm learning from them. And I'm surrounding myself to go to this next level in life because I don't have that information. So I'm seeking that information. So if you're a high school dropout, if you're high school, if you're college, you're struggling, I'm hoping you listen to me, man. Start networking, going to those boring networks that I used to go to, where everything that smells, you smell old because you're the youngest person there. You're in the right place because they got information.
so true. Absolutely, man. I love that. And as you spoke of really being around Richard Branson and learning from him, what was some some advice? I'm sure he gave you a lot of advice, but what was some great advice that you can really remember, like the greatest advice he really gave to you and it just stuck to you from the heart that you carry with you every day?
Yeah, he and I clicked good, and I resonated with everything he said. And what he says is this: you see this screenshot. Your circle's like this. Your job right now is to bring that circle very tight, because when you have a circle and you're struggling, it's a full-time job because you have too many people in your lives, too many distractions. It's the same thing I think about. I mean, I came up with this distractions years ago. Close that circle in, man. Close the circle in. And then you will start widening your circle. It's called growing with newer, better relationships, meaningful relationships. That's very important. Meaningful, meaning that you're getting value, you're giving value, you're receiving value, you appreciate in life, just like investments. When you give value to investments and you pay attention to it, what happens to investments? They grow. You adjust. Oh my gosh, let me just go ahead and get out of this investment. Let me shuffle here because there's some shifting going on. Same thing in life. You appreciate. So he talks about this circle. Tighten it up, man. Tighten up your circle.
Mhm. Absolutely. I believe that, that's true as well because less is more, right?
Yep.
So I think that's amazing, man. Bob, you've came so much far on your journey, man. Honestly, starting off watching your mother work and do for y'all, in the household, going through situations, rent a center and all types of other poverty things and things like that, man. But you've always had a driven spirit, man. And things of that nature to really later on in years growing your company and selling it, for tons and tons of money, and stuff like that. So after you sold your company, man, what was the feel like, and what was next for you after that?
You know, I've been asked the question a lot, including from family members. When I first got that first 25 million, um, I remember my son-in-law was next to me, and they said, "Hey, the wire went through." I said, "Really?"
Mm.
I was waiting and expecting something because I'm always used to something happening. Come on, where it is, give it to me. Well, it showed up, and I looked at it, and he looked at me, he gave me a high five. I didn't have the ha-ha moment, man. I'm being so truthful from my heart. I didn't have the ha-ha moment. I didn't have the ha-ha moment on the second slice, nor my final big slice. I didn't get it, man. I have beautiful watches, beautiful things only because I can. My favorite watch is right here, G-Shock.
Hmm.
I'm so grounded, man, where I'm so paranoid not to take anything for granted. And my purpose in life right now is my legacy. I have my grandbabies, my two grandbabies. I love Emotions, 3.5. Oakley's 1.5. That's my daughter's kids and her husband. Priscilla's 28. She has her fashion line. Brandon, he's 23 years old, beautiful girlfriend. The stats are staggering. Remember that organization I joined?
Yes.
Smarter people than me, not smarter, but just more experience. I hate using smarter. They just have more experience. They say, Bobby, you and Sophie's my wife, you create the wealth. This is a majority what happens. Brandon and Priscilla spends it all. Ocean and Oakley and your future grandchildren have nothing. I
Hmm.
am not going to make that mistake at the stage in my life, how much work I have put in. And so that's where I'm at. I'm building this legacy. I'm building policies, core values with my family. I have a lot of trusts set up throughout the years. And I want to make sure that does not happen. And I put the foundation in place now to do the hard, not to go out and spend my money, go out just because I can. I like my dollar to work for me in a beautiful way. I give back a lot to charity. I just been to a beautiful school in Africa that we've been helping for a few years.
Hmm.
Went there and I saw what we were able to do, this school, and I was around these children that 90% of them, man, have HIV, AIDS, no parents. It broke my heart, zero resources. Um, and I left even giving back in a bigger way, but I like to help people that have really, they can't help themselves, man. Those are big issues going on. And so I decided, my son 3 months ago, he says, Dad, man, you sold the company. My friends are always picking your brain about, hey, how do I do this, Mr. Castro? And my son-in-law's friends, he says, why don't I just put you on social media and you can maybe touch not 5 lives, maybe 50 lives. So I said, you know what? Go ahead and do it. Let's do this all the remaining this year. So how I see it, Rel, I'm giving back to a lot of people just with this information, charging nothing for it, because you shouldn't buy this stuff. This stuff should be available to young people and anybody who wants to listen to. And when you're successful, if anybody's listening to me and you're successful financially and you have that experience, give, man. Give some information. Don't be greedy. Return on the investment. I mean, you already made get some reward from it. And that inner spirit, some people buy into it and some people don't. But that's okay. I get it. But that's where I'm at. I've always been there, and I'm even more so now, dude.
I love that, man. Such a giving heart, man. And even just mentioning your family, the whole tribe. Shout out to all of them as well. And even your wife being by you and y'all being partner and, doing the thing, man. Because when people look at you all, oh, let me follow these two. Everybody want to jump on a wave, right? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with you, man. When I seen you on credit card page, man, I looked, I didn't see, I didn't care about the bio, about being 300 million, whatever it said. Congratulations to you on all that worth and success, because we know it wasn't overnight. But when I clicked on your page and I started to look at the videos, the content, and your consistency, and you doing something different from how these other people doing, and you're higher, maybe at a certain similar level as these people, where you can't get them on a show, you can't have a conversation with them. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, man, from day one, this gentleman sat here, messaged me, I messaged him, or I'm showing love to his content or whatever, and he responded, we connected on LinkedIn, and just building a genuine relationship. He's 20 something plus years older than me, man, but it doesn't matter about the age, guys. It matters about the connection and genuine people, man. There's real genuine people. Gentleman here, self-made millionaire, man, plus, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you hear him say that it's not about just that. Yes, we have to do to give back to places like kids in Africa and Indonesia and all these poverty places, man. Like, y'all really had to understand and listen to this gentleman, because it gets deeper than rap. It gets deeper than a podcast. It gets deeper than an interview. This is something you had to leave for decades, man. And I really discovered this gentleman, man. And I'm like, man, I want to take time. I'm not going to say hop on and just interview him right away. I want to get to know him, build with him, stuff like that. And then I'm going to say, man, I want to reach out to an interview. And I know that he's a busy man. There's so many people now, they want to reach out and stuff like that. And stuff like that. But at the same time, God allows certain paths to cross and align at his time and not our time. And so, Bobby, man, you're phenomenal, man, honestly. And you're giving heart, man. Your grandkids, they listen to this someday, and your kids as well, man. I see how they was emailing and being consistent and being, with times and everything like that, man. You could tell that you raised them right because you've been raised right, man. And you went through quite a lot, at a very young age, man. Honestly, Bobby. So I wanted to ask, man, like, on your day-to-day habits, Bobby, what are some of those daily routines, man, that you really, really practice?
I wake up, and been doing this for many, many years. I wake up 5 to 5:30 in the morning. And without any exaggeration, guys, I probably work on myself an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half, just readjusting, preparing for my day, because every day it's a reset day, because going back to these distractions, and I'm exposed to family members. I'm exposed to some stuff. I'm exposed to maybe seeing something on the news that is just not beautiful to see, where you're seeing a murder, you're seeing negative things. So imagine, and how I did well in life and how I treated my customers right. I readjusted myself to make sure I had my mind right, head into the fight. Because I was heading into fight, I had to create and earn. I had competition. I had customers that had options. I had to be on a game, and more so, I had hundreds of employees that I had to really impact, because they're speaking directly to these customers. So my day starts really early. After that, I hit a strong workout. I'm a picky eater. My dad lived to 94. I'm hoping to live, God willing, his age. So I read a lot. Even not so much education. You'll be surprised, again, if you're curious. And there's a book I would like to tell everyone about right now.
Okay.
And it's a book I read when I was traveling those 9 countries. And I said, man, someone's giving me some energy here, because it's exactly what I've been saying. Alibaba is Jack Ma, who founded Alibaba. And it's Duncan Clark is the author. So you can look online, Alibaba, Duncan Clark. It's a simple read. You will see a story there of a true story of an individual, how people skills and the leveraging the relationship without forcing the relationship has not only earned him to be worth billions of dollars, but I love this man because he's all about the people, man. And
Mm.
he made other people successful. You cannot create wealth without creating other wealth. And one thing I wanted to say, and I know I'm all a little bit all over the place, but I'm trying to get as much information out. Fall in love with the process, guys. You don't like your
Mm.
job? I get it. I've been there. I totally get it. You're in a struggle. You're in a dark spot. Start falling in love with the process. When I met my wife 29 years ago, 30 years ago, I thought I was
Congratulations.
in love with the first day. What happens, guys, if you fertilize your life, whether it's your career, your profession, your business, whatever you're doing, or whatever you inspire to do, fertilize it. It grows. My marriage with Sophie, we kept fertilizing it, and we fell in love as we were going. It doesn't ever stop. So I tell young people, Rel, fall in love with this process. Don't complain about it. Fall in love with it, because if you fall in love with it, it'll roll, and it'll lead down total different paths. Because if you just go against the grain, man, you're never gonna find out what's behind that curtain, man. Go flow with the process. If you want a promotion, you hate your job, don't go in with that vibe, because they can feel it. I employed hundreds of employees, and I always could tell somebody that, wow, they have stepped up.
Mm.
They are really on their stuff. Promotion. So fall in love with the process. Disconnect from some of the people that are preventing you to fall in love with the process. And I promise you, man, that fall in love stuff will become love, and it'll lead you somewhere like it led me.
Absolutely. I love that, man. And I also wanted to, I know early in the interview you also referenced your mom a lot, man. I wanted to kind of ask you, man, if you can really write a letter to your mother right now, man, and also your wife, Sophie Castro as well, and your kids and grandkids. Yeah, I gotta spice it a little bit. You know, you could keep it short, Robbie, or you can do how you do, man. Just pour in, brother. What would those words be like?
I'm writing you this letter because I have so much love for you. And I want you to live a long, healthy life. Be kind to others. I do apologize if at times I wasn't present, because I was so busy trying to create and build. And I apologize that to you, Mom, especially you, even living, man, 30 minutes away. I would not go see my mom because I was just so busy. I was making those sacrifices, but that was just an excuse, because it's only 30 minutes away. How can you not go see your mom, especially after what she's done for you? I have some regret on that. I'm not gonna lie to you, Rel. And Mom, I love you, and I'm sorry for that. And I'm so appreciative. You know, you're my mom. You created me. You popped me out of something. You told me I could be whoever I am. Don't let anyone else convince you. And I just love you.
Hmm. Powerful, man. Powerful. I love that, man. And when she listens to this, I'm sure a tear may fall. She'll give you a big hug when she see you, man. And thank you for being vulnerable and being transparent, good brother. Honestly, man, I know we got, very few minutes left. I wanted to ask Bobby, achieving so much success in your life, man, and not just the success, but the value and being in rooms and bringing value and building a relationship, leveraging a relationship, changing your family tree, man, being that one, honestly, man, from once being a busboy and being a server, having a janitorial business, so many ups and downs in that journey, man. And now that you're here today, um, how do we stay present, man? And how do you maintain that lifestyle, man? How do you maintain just being at the next level?
You know, never stop saying thank you to people, man. What's helping me and what's maintaining me and what's going to elevate me is being kind to others, thanking others, no matter if it's good morning, um, thank you, they opened the door. I even walked down the street. I live down the street here on Las Olas, so I walk ride my bike, or whatever the case may be. and I'll say good morning to people. And sometimes they don't say good morning back. I would say maybe 30% of the time, you don't, 70% of the time, like, oh, good morning. But I initiate that. And when they don't say good morning, I don't judge them. Oh, what a jerk. Hey, good morning. I say that second time, I get maybe 20% more. And I even said it the third time because I've come to learn that people have things on their mind. They're going through issues, and be kind, man. You'll be so surprised on the relationships you can make. Don't force a relationship. I'm meeting some awesome individuals on the social media. I've only been this on 3 months. I've never been on social media. And I'm meeting beautiful people. And hey, Bobby, I love your video, man. Beautiful things. Hey, I got a deal I want you to look at to invest in. Hey, I got this business. Man, I wouldn't do that. I used to do that many, many years ago, that younger Bobby. And I noticed I wasn't getting any responses or any buy-in or any possibilities. And then I just started learning on how to speak to people with good intentions and let a relationship grow. And you'll be surprised. I do business with people today. I have so many different businesses, man. So many investments going on. And what's great about it, those relationships were established organically. Someone has to like you. Someone has to believe in you. Because, you know, when you look for investors, guys, and I never got any investors for my business of real estate. I did it the hard way. I think sometimes it's easier that way versus going out and spending all this energy telling people you want to, you know, invest in real estate when you don't know about real estate. You know, don't come across that way. Don't force something, man, because you're burning a relationship, a possibility of somebody, especially that likes people. You know, if you know someone that likes people, that should give you a good tip on how to have a strategy to form a relationship.
Yes, absolutely. Guys, is listening from Inspire Before You Expire. Build relationships with good people, man, with good intentions, the right people, you know, that you provide value or, you know, not really expecting nothing in return. You guys just really helping each other and guiding each other through the process.
As long as you're getting value, whatever you do today, guys, make sure you give value.
Yes.
Make sure you manage those non-refundable minutes because you don't get them back. Make sure, because, you know, everyone's taking it for granted. You don't get the minute back.
Absolutely. Bobby, before we get out of here, I just want you to share, man, from the heart, man. I know how you do it, man. And you come with it when you come. To share something you haven't got to share with someone in such a long time, man. It could be anything, man. Pour your heart out, you know, and everything like that with our younger people, our middle-aged people, and just people from different walks of life, man. Your family, your clients, your supporters is listening. Feel free to, man. You can have the stage.
You know, I've been on so many podcasts in 3 months and really doing what I'm saying. I want to give. I want to apologize to hundreds of employees that have impacted my life that I don't mention you more on some of these interviews, man, because it's moving so fast, guys. I love each and every one of you. You know that. And it's not all about Bobby, because without you guys, Bobby's not sitting here, and I'm hoping that I impacted your life, and I miss you guys so much. And Rel, I didn't even say bye to my employees, dude. It's such an emotional thing for me still right now. I don't know if I'm going to go to the holiday party on the 14th of December. I just don't know if I can do it, because it was my entire life. I know these people. They're so important to me. I know their family. I know some of their struggles. We're so close. And, you know, I'm still going through it, guys. I miss you guys a lot, and I apologize for not mentioning to you, you know, how important you were in my life and are in my life. So, you know, something I want to get out. Thank you for allowing me to do that, dude.
Absolutely, man. I felt the chills on that, man. I listened to a few of your interviews, man, and I'm glad you was able to pour out here, man, and share that with them, man. And I'm sure it's gonna be felt, man. I'm sure it's already forgiven. The man above forgave you already, man. And these are things that's happen in life, man. Just sacrifices, right? So, Bobby, man, my last question, man, is when it's all said and done, man. It's all said and done, man. Inspire Before You Expire, right? What do Bobby Castro mostly want to be remembered for?
Kindness. Just pure kind, dude. That's what I want to be remembered. I was kind to everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, in my company, We gave awards to all the top performers. We do
Okay.
we're really entrenched with our culture. And I was always the one voting for the janitor, always voting for the ones
Mm,
helping us with when the phones break, helping us with the drywall. And, that's where my heart is, dude. And the individuals like that are important because there was a statement back in the day when, U.S., before they put a man on the moon, they walked around in an interview, interviewing everybody, and it's talk about culture, one team. And they interviewed a janitor and they said, "Hey, what's the mission here?" He said to put a man on the moon. They communicated with everybody, no matter what level of an employee, stature, whatever it is. We're all one, man. The world's so flat. Don't get caught up, guys, just because all the flash you see on the social media, this and that. That's all it is, man. Pay attention to information, man. What is the intention of the information? What do they want from you?
absolutely. I love that, man. New information changes situations, right, Bobby?
Love it. That's right.
Indeed. Bobby, thank you, man, for being here, being present. If you can, please share your social media, your website, your contact information if you like with the audience to share with them so they can connect with you, man.
My Instagram is official Bobby Castro. There's a website, bobbycastro.com. And I'm on the Facebook. I'm on all this other stuff. I'm trying to keep up with everything. And my son, his girlfriend, and some beautiful people here behind the scenes helping me. I respond to every DM. That's me, guys. And because I believe in saying thank you, I'm really sincerely saying to you, I'm really all about this year, just giving back. So when you get a message, it's not somebody messaging, man. Last night I responded, I think, to 172 DMs just on Instagram,
Hmm.
and some real issues people are having, man. And that's me, man. That's me. So when you're DMing me, you're asking me advice, please be honest. You don't have to be embarrassed. Just give me what you're dealing with. And if I can't have any value for you, I don't have experience, I'm going to come right back and tell you. But it feels good, man, just expressing that to somebody you don't know, and maybe someone that can maybe just give you some insight. And so don't be scared of that.
Absolutely, man. It's been an honor, man, to really sit down with you today, on this beautiful Wednesday morning here in sunny Florida, good brother, honestly, man. And I'm glad we was able to really connect, man, via social media, the power of not only social media, but connection and men just coming together, man, from different walks of life, no matter the age, and understanding and
That's
helping
right.
each other platform grow and also providing value to one another. So I just thank you, Bobby, honestly, man. And I thank the audience right now, most importantly, for listening, being tuned into Bobby as well and being tuned into the Inspire Before We Expire, guys. I want you to go ahead and follow and support his mission because it's only beginning, man. And I want you guys to also do us a favor and leave a review based on what really intrigued you most from this interview with Bobby Castro. Leave a rating as well, which helps our show continue to grow and impact many, many more people across the world today. Bobby, before we get out of here, man, any final words for the people?
Sharon is Karen, man. Don't ever forget that, man. Sharon is Karen.
Absolutely. I love that, guys. I wanted to leave off with one of Bobby's quote I was listening to an interview, man. It's not about success. It's not just about success. It's about the value you give. So, guys, subscribe, follow, Inspire Before We Expire, follow and support my guy, Bobby Castro's mission. This is the Inspire Before We Expire. God bless you all. Have a great week. Phenomenal, phenomenal December. Keep doing what you got to do. Fall in love with the process and learn from us, gentlemen here who comes from humble beginnings. And we're out. Woo!